WWE WrestleMania 41 Night 2 is in the books. We just watched it together literally seconds ago. Thank you so much to everybody for hanging out and waiting while I got the review prepped here and got us ready for that. We did see John Cena, in fact, defeat Cody Rhodes to win the WWE Championship in a very honestly underwhelming main event. I'm very curious what social media is saying. I'm going to be looking at all your comments here right now. But I feel like this was a pretty big letdown. I was expecting a lot more out of night 2. We had a pretty good show up until this point. I feel like the last two nights kind of reversed. Like last night, the undercard wasn't much and the main event really delivered. Here, the undercard was better on night 2, but the main event, I feel like, did not deliver so much. I cannot believe The Rock wasn't there for this. The fact that he was a part of that soul-selling, segment at the end of Elimination Chamber. You felt like he was going to be right in the middle of this, and there was like very little mention of him in any of the promos and any of the build, and I thought maybe that was just because they're going to keep Rock off TV and not mention him and try to get him as a surprise here in the main event and come out. He even tweeted out a couple of hours ago on Instagram, posted on Instagram that he was in Hawaii. So usually wrestlers do that when they are full of shit. So I was expecting him to come out. He did not. I even put him in the overlay here because I was just assuming he would be on the show. And yeah, it was just kind of underwhelming. There were some interesting parts of the main event. It had much of a WrestleMania 22 feel or even Rock and Hogan feel. But it felt like WrestleMania 22 a little bit because John Cena got his ass booed in that match, and he was up against Triple H, the guy that the IWC hated the most up until that day. And then it just kind of switched. And here you have John Cena playing the role of Triple H and Cody playing the role of Cena. I thought that maybe Cody would just beat John Cena. And if he did, I would have been fine with that. But I also feel like there's way more story to tell with John Cena taking the title and trying to retire with it and taking it away from the fans and all that. And now he has broken the record. John Cena has now won his 17th world championship, which does, in kayfabe, make him the record holder for world championships. And that's great. But I think to get to this outcome of Cena winning, I wanted to see a little bit more. And the fact that we saw Travis Scott and we didn't see The Rock, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to get over that. I thought Travis Scott was just the first person to come out. And he had to come out while they played. It's my least favorite WrestleMania. It's like, me. Like, oh my God, it's like nails on a chalkboard. So we have to listen to that all the way down the ramp. I'm thinking he's going to stop halfway and The Rock's going to come out. I'm just waiting for The Rock, like an idiot. And he just comes out and I'm like, okay, good. It's receipt time. But it was so lame. He did take a crossroads and he took it well. Appreciate him selling that, but in the end, it wasn't a whole bunch of adversity that did Cody in. It was a relatively simple tool that they used in the end. Sure, you got the ref bump. Cena got hit with the crossroads. Nobody there to count it, so Cody had the match won. They did a lot of things in this match to protect Cody, but I thought they would protect him even more, and Cena would have a lot more interference than what he had. So after Travis Scott gets crossroadsed, Cena goes and gets the belt. Cody stops him, blocks Cena using the belt, grabs the belt himself, and now since there's no ref, he has to decide whether or not to use it. And of course, he hesitates just enough. He turns his head for a split second away from Cena. Cena nutshots him, dick kick right to the penis, and knocks down Cody. Cena hits him with another AA. Cody took a lot of AAs. He took a super avalanche AA off the top, and he kicked out of everything. This time, he took that final one, and he did not kick out, and Cena won the championship. I thought it would take The Rock. I thought it would take something else other than that. John Cena said some things in his promo on Friday, things like I knew I couldn't beat you, and to beat you, I don't have to wrestle. So I just thought that meant he had a whole lot of backup or a whole lot of tricks up his sleeve. And we were even hoping to see Stone Cold come out and stun The Rock. Stone Cold came out. And he damn near killed a woman. He comes out on his four-wheeler, and I've always been terrified of Austin on these things. He came out right before the main event to announce the attendance. So this dream, this fantasy booking that we had of him showing up here in the main event and getting involved and stunning The Rock, and Rock could sell and bounce all over the top rope, we didn't get either guy out here in the main event. And Sean announced the attendance last night. Austin came out to announce the attendance tonight. But Austin came down in his four-wheeler, driving it 100 miles an hour down the ramp with no railing, so he could have easily just flown off the edge of that thing. And then he's driving around the ring, and he just loses control, and he plows right into the barricade and knocks this woman over. And you can see it immediately on her face. She is fuming pissed. And I tried to watch the replay a couple times during the live stream. It didn't look like I'm trying to read that. It didn't look like she got hurt that bad, but you could see she was immediately mad. And Austin went and checked on her. And then Nick Khan, who is sitting at ringside, he's over there instantly. It's like when somebody falls in a restaurant, boom, the owner swarms, so he's over there checking on her, and she's really mad. Now, if she got really hurt and she's just a little mad, like, that's fine. And trust me, I have no problem with somebody taking WWE to the cleaners. They got billions of dollars. If this woman can use this as a way to get a few $100,000 from them, I say do it. But I was surprised that when you're sitting ringside at WrestleMania, you're that upset, because she got up right away. She seemed more mad than hurt. Like I said, if you're injured, be mad. But it looked like she got knocked over. So she may have been hurt. Maybe she was. I have no idea. Didn't look like they took her to the back or anything like that. But just the scowl on her face was pretty funny. I've told this story a million times. I sat ringside back in the day in the Attitude Era during a live event for an Austin and Rock no holds barred match or Falls Count Anywhere match or whatever. And they were all on the outside of the ring. And Rock, first of all, got thrown into my lap, which was really cool. He was laying in my lap. But after that, before that, he got thrown into the barricade, and the barricade flew back and smashed my elbow and hurt my elbow. Like I said, ow. There was a bruise on my elbow, and I never wanted it to go away. I was so happy about it. I was like, look, The Rock did that. I was proud of my battle scar. Made me feel good. I was a fan. It was great. So I obviously, this woman is not like me, or maybe not like many of you. And I do sincerely hope that she is okay. But I was kind of laughing at how fucking pissed she looked. I mean, she had basically the owner running over there to check on her, Nick Khan, just making sure, this could be a lawsuit, and it could. She could go after WWE and Austin if she wanted to, if she was legitimately hurt. But hopefully she was not. She just took a tumble. They give her some free tickets, smooth it over. Hey, we'll see. You can sit ringside next year. You got any kids? They can come back and meet everybody. Just do whatever you got to do to make that situation okay for her, and hopefully they do. But that was kind of funny to see that happen. And that was right before the main event that, like I said, was kind of, or a lot of, a disappointment. So let me know in the chat, what did you feel about the show? I said yesterday that I still felt like this WrestleMania has a chance to go down as a great one, provided tonight delivers. And they started out pretty strong. The vibe in the building, the energy in the building was a little bit stronger. Michael Cole even made mention that it was warmer in the building than it was the day before. So you had these feelings that it was just brewing in the air. And so I was feeling pretty good going into it, and we started great, but then it kind of fizzled and, went away from there. So we're going to review this thing match by match. But before we do, I want to see what you guys are saying here in the chat. Do me a favor, please smash this thumbs up button. And if you are not a subscriber, please become one. We're here every WrestleMania season, and it's always a hoot. Cheers to everybody who are wrapping up a pretty long week of wrestling. It's been long for me, and we're going to be back tomorrow, by the way. We're not going to be here for a watch-along of Raw because I just have this suspicion we're going to be disappointed. So we're going to be up here for a review instead, and we're going to do a nice big overview of the weekend, probably another quick recap of night 1 and night 2, because both of my reviews last night and tonight are following a watch-along, so I wasn't making notes bit by bit. We're going to go largely here by memory and the results that I have pulled up. So tomorrow night, some of the more detailed stuff that we might miss here, we're going to cover all of that tomorrow night after Raw. Keep a lookout for a link coming to you in the near future. All right, let's get to Mike Witt. Thank you, guys. Appreciate the 10. Been watching wrestling all my life, but that might have been the worst Mania main event I've ever seen, maybe. Ever. Cena can't wrestle. He's so washed up. He didn't look good. Cena didn't look good. We didn't have the drama, in the war that I wanted to see between these guys, and that was a little bit of a bummer. WWE fan, appreciate the $2. Night 1, 6.5. Night 2, 7.5. You're being kind. You're being kind. Cena's bald spot. Thanks for the 10. Greg, you make this shit worth it, but come on. The Rock was supposed to get stunned by Austin. It's not my, don't blame me, fuck motherfucker. Should have switched night 1 and night 2 main events. Yeah, I agree. I wanted to see The Rock there too. I think it was absurd that we did not see The Rock, but I ain't booking this shit. Don't yell at me. But yeah, I'm very disappointed. I'm very disappointed with that main event, and I would assume many fans are. You know, I'm said it as a joke. I said it as a joke. I don't want to find the tweet right now because we're live, but a few days ago on Wednesday, I said that wouldn't it be hilarious if not only Dynamite was the best show of the week, but Ospreay and Takeshita was the best match of the week. It might have been. You know, it legitimately might have been, but that doesn't bring me any joy to say that, because I was really, despite maybe the underwhelming feel of the build, I still thought WWE is going to deliver. They're WWE, and plus they got a lot of pros in a lot of these matches, and you know, I'm always one that can find the good in a lot of these matches. I was looking for a Priest and Drew Cinderella match, or Logan and AJ to steal the show, something like that. I just thought we would get something somewhere of just extra WrestleMania greatness, where you're saying that was a WrestleMania match, or that was a WrestleMania victory, or that was a WrestleMania moment. And I think easily on the whole entire weekend, can we agree on this? Just give me a yay or nay in the chat. The main event of last night was the best match of the whole entire card, right? Last night's main event was the best match of all of the matches. That's the way I feel. We had some good ones tonight, but that was the best overall. And plus, we did get the finish with Rollins and Heyman last night, which I think was a better overall finish because something happened. And we were even going crazy with the booking, thinking that last night's main event was Seth and Heyman could bleed into this situation somehow. They seem like they're separate, you know, situations or angles, but they could be connected in some way. And maybe WWE's going to unveil something. And, you know, it was just kind of largely just a fart. So kind of a bummer. WWE fan, thanks for the $9.99. It's going to be better for Cody to chase the title and get the rematch at SummerSlam. That's when I think Cody gets the rematch and the title back. They do the third match at the Rumble. Cody wins. They can't do the third match at the Rumble. Cena's done in 2020 at the end of 2025. He has to be done. I pitched the idea of, and I've been pitching it, of doing a Cena-themed pay-per-view in December, because WWE's done that before for The Rock and for DX. And if you do a Cena-themed pay-per-view and you book that bitch in the Garden and you do the rematch there, Cody wins the title in the Garden. Cena gets a send-off in WWE's, you know, hallowed ground. I think that would be a nice story, but we'll see where they go. We got Money in the Bank to think about. We got SummerSlam. We got to think about if Cody's going to be off TV now. You know, I feel like the Cena victory was kind of predictable. And I hate that it was, because Cena has been all over the promotion for tomorrow's Raw. He's all over the promotion for a lot of stuff. And, you know, Cody not being advertised for Raw. And I thought that doesn't necessarily mean anything. But, you know, I guess it did after all. So we've got 6s, 7.5, 6.7s. You know, I'm giving it a 6, guys. And it's the main event's fault. It's the main event's fault that I'm giving it a 6. So we'll circle back and see if there's any super chats that I missed and talk to you guys here in a minute. I just want to get a few of those out of the way, and we will start now reviewing night 2 of WrestleMania. That really did start strong and finish rather weak in my mind, but we'll be talking about it. All right, so what do we open with tonight at night 2? We open with Stephanie McMahon in the ring welcoming us to WrestleMania. So we had her there, Triple H last night, her tonight. And I think last year, wasn't it Triple H night 1, Stephanie night 2, or reversed? I think they opened last year's Mania, didn't they? Stephanie and Triple H? I think they did. But the first match was the Women's Championship Triple Threat, Io Sky defending against Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair. I really like this match. This was a great opener. This was better than Jay and Gunther in my mind. We didn't get any super special entrances here except for Bianca Belair, who had some women doing the twirling, and one girl did not look that enthusiastic, and then Bianca gave her a hug and a kiss when she came out for her entrance, and Cole said that was her stepdaughter, so I guess that's Montez's daughter, to be out there for Bianca's entrance. That was cool. So Bianca kind of got a special one, but the crowd was booing her. The crowd was booing Bianca. She's been hearing some boos lately. I've been calling for her heel turn ever since 2019. I think that she would be a great heel. She'd be excellent at it. And since the crowd booed her, even in the match, she was kind of responding to that a little bit, and I liked what she saw. She didn't feel rattled by it or seem rattled by it. And so maybe a heel turn can actually happen now, and she's not so hell-bent on being a role model for little girls. That you can't do that forever when fans are shitting on you. You're too good. Bianca's too good. But she looked great. Loved the roses. Loved the gear. And then Rhea Ripley came out. Or I think Io Sky came out. Io Sky came out first, then Bianca. Ripley came out last. Nothing special there. She had some bright red lipstick instead of the black lipstick. But other than that, nothing too out of the ordinary there. But the match was really fun. It was awesome. And I felt like going into it, Io Sky had to win. It had to be her after the way she's been treated. And I think if Bianca wins, fans are going to hate that. Plus, Bianca's got that situation still on SmackDown with Jade and Naomi, so I didn't think she would win. But I thought, it was possible that Rhea could. And they did this really cool finish in the end where, excuse me, I think it's Ripley and Io. Ripley's on the top rope. Io's going to go up to the top, like Ripley's sitting on the turnbuckle facing the crowd on the top rope. Io comes up from behind her to, I guess, give her a poison rana from the top, which would just be sick. And she goes for it. Rhea grabs the turnbuckle to block it and then winds up, basically Alabama slamming Io into the top of that like big giant ring post they have now. And when she hit her, she just went straight into it and kind of stuck there like that. And then Ripley came down, and I think, was it a KOD? Yeah, I think it was a KOD or a Riptide. I think it was a KOD to Ripley, and I was calling it. I was like, Io Sky is still hanging up there. If they're not going to show a wide shot of the ring, that means she's going to come moonsaulting off there. She's already in moonsault position. And sure enough, I think it was a KOD, not a Riptide, right? KOD to Ripley. Bianca goes for the pin, and then Io comes off with the moonsault. Bam! And falls right onto Ripley's legs, and I believe she pinned Bianca Belair, right? But she hit them both. Great finish. Either way, Io Sky wound up retaining the title there, and the fans loved it. That was the only way that match could go. I think WWE would have heard some complaints. They would have gotten some heat, if they would have put Ripley or Bianca over in that situation, because it would have been like, why? This is Io Sky's match to win, and I thought the finish was perfect. The moonsault that Io Sky used in the end was perfect. The way she landed it was perfect. Even with Ripley's legs kind of behind her, she landed and it looked like you could have easily torn a hamstring or something like that if you were Rhea Ripley. There was a referee helping her away after the match. Hopefully she's all right, but it was just great. It looked so good, and Io Sky gets the win and retains, and kind of like right off the bat, even though Jay's moment was fine last night, this match was better in the ring. Still a great moment. Fans loved Io Sky winning, just, and they love Jay, but this match was just better. It just got the night off to a better start, I felt. So the women get the nod for the better opener of the two nights, for sure. Then we had the Sin City Street fight between Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest. Drew McIntyre came out. You guys were telling me it was Doom or something. He had some special gear he was wearing. Damian Priest came out, guitarist from Slayer, played a guitar solo as his music played, so he kind of had a cool entrance. And I thought this match was good. Don't get me wrong. I can't shit on this match because both guys worked their asses off, and that would be unfair to say that, but I did expect more, and I'm slightly disappointed because I thought that these two guys really needed to do something here to make their WrestleMania match stand out. And maybe that's not the goal anymore. It clearly didn't look like anybody here was trying to really do something crazy nuts. And I'm not like bloodthirsty or anything like that, but with Drew and Priest, especially Drew, probably feels he should be at a better spot at WrestleMania. And, instead of this just being a throwaway feud or a match or whatever, try to make it somewhat good. And I just didn't want the typical street fight match. I didn't want 10,000 trash can lids out there, and that's all we're doing, and stop signs and, and the kendo sticks, just the same old shit over and over. So I wanted a little bit more. This was still good. They tore the stairs apart. We had lots of steel chairs, and there was a couple of table bumps. Drew took a bump first. I forgot what his was. Drew took the first table bump, and it was pretty rough. But then Damian Priest took one from the ring to the floor where he had 2 tables set up. So you knew somebody was going to eat through that. But the finish was kind of cool too, because earlier in the match, Priest had positioned the chair like between the top and second turnbuckles like they'll do sometimes, and he shoved it in there. And then he took the big table bump. So the chair was still there. So as McIntyre is getting Priest back in the ring, he just kind of leans him up on the apron and puts his head right in front of that chair, and then comes in with a claymore on the Priest's head into the chair, pins him for the win. Very good match. Excellent match. These guys are going to be sore after. Drew was cut up a little bit. He took a bump on the steps, and they were really getting creative with the steps. And there was a lot of punishment in the match. So from that aspect, I appreciate what they gave. But I feel like if WWE just would have had it, like if both these guys would have been busted open, I just think that would have really enhanced our memory of this, because somebody like me, I'm going to forget about this match by Thursday. So, I wanted something here to happen that would stand out, and I'd remember this 5 years from now. Oh, remember that Priest and McIntyre war they had back at WrestleMania 41? Damn, that was good stuff. I'm not going to say about that about this match. It was good, but good was about it, unfortunately. But still, not bad. Up next was the Intercontinental Championship match, Fatal 4-Way, Braun Breaker defending against Penta, Finn Balor, and Dominic Mysterio. So everybody here, I thought, being in the Fatal 4-Way was, I guess I should bring up the entrances first. Do we see anything that unique here? Not really. Not really. Penta and Dom both came out with a mask, but that was about it. I did like Balor and Dom came out with masks. I did like, and Penta did too, but I did like Balor in the black and the yellow. That kind of was a good color scheme on him. But I thought the Fatal 4-Way was here to, either protect Braun Breaker or make him seem even more invincible than he already is. And I thought back to the Gunther and Sheamus and Drew McIntyre IC match from a couple years ago that Gunther was pretty dominant in. I thought maybe Breaker could do the same here and just stack all 3 of these motherfuckers. But it would also be a great opportunity to put the Intercontinental title on Dominic, especially with the way he got into that match and the issue between him and Finn Balor. I had it predicted kind of right here. I said that Dominic is not only going to win, but he's going to pin Finn Balor, and they used the same finish that the women used. It was the same exact thing. Dom goes for, they had a pretty good match here, by the way. The match was fine, but the finishing sequence sees Dom hitting a 619 onto Breaker, and then Dom's going to go to the top to hit the frog splash. Balor shows up and crotches Dom, but Dom falls on the top rope, and he just stays there while Balor hits the coup de grace on Breaker. And it's like the same thing, just like Io Sky was kind of sitting there on the turnbuckle waiting to moonsault off. Dom is up there doing the same thing. So I was calling it before it happened. Finn's going up, boom, coup de grace, goes for the pin. In comes Dom with the frog splash and pins Finn Balor to win the Intercontinental Championship. Crowd loved it. I think Dom was really over, and I'm so happy that Dom won the title. I predicted him to. I wanted him to. I'm a big Dominic fan. I know Raw has got some weaker, maybe singles champions right now, but I think that can all change in the draft, so it's no need to panic. But having Dom as the IC holder and Jay as the world title holder, maybe that makes Raw somewhat weak-ish, but they can probably rectify that relatively easily if we do have a draft coming up. I think we will. So Dom wins the IC title, and now Balor can take it from him. And there was no Liv Morgan out for that. Give him a smooch on the stage. I was pretty surprised. But she was getting ready in her gear. She probably didn't want to reveal her gear until it was her match. Plus, she had a match coming up pretty soon. But Dominic is now the Intercontinental Champion. 20 years ago, that little shit ladder shaker, that guy is winning the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. Is wild, is it not? And I think it's also pretty cool. So congrats to Dom. He probably won't have a super, super duper long run. But I was still happy to see him win the IC title. And Dom's the best. And, I said earlier too in the watch along that, Dominic is a different heel than Charlotte. Dominic has, in my mind, the right kind of heat, the fun kind of heat, where he's fun to boo. You boo him, you don't want him to talk. He's such a sniveling little prick, but in a good way. He's not a channel changer. You enjoy him as a heel. People enjoyed Ric Flair as a heel. Where someone like Charlotte, people just don't want her at all. They just can't stand the sight of her. Where it's not like that with Dominic. He's one of the better kinds of heels. He's the type of heel you want. And when fans boo him to the point where it's blowing the roof off, that's the right kind of boos. And I love that Dominic had his moment here, and he might be heading towards an eventual babyface turn. At some point, Rey Mysterio is going to have to retire. And Rey, unfortunately, couldn't work his WrestleMania match last night. And at some point, if he is going to retire, he's 50 years old now. He might have a situation where it's a mask match with his son. Maybe Dominic unmasks his dad in his final match, and then Rey gives Dom a mask, and then Dom wrestles under a mask for the rest of his career. Although Dom's a good-looking guy. I think he should just wrestle without a mask. But maybe he does incorporate a mask into his future wrestling in some way. Who knows? But maybe this is all kind of the beginning of that. But either way, I don't think Dom's going to have a super long run. Clearly, Finn is going to be pissed. I'll be surprised if Finn plays it cool tomorrow in the little Judgment Day clubhouse segments they do. So if Finn plays it totally cool, that will surprise me. But I imagine Dom won't be holding that title for too terribly long, and probably neither will Jey Uso. After that, this was kind of crazy. Oh, my God. So after Dominic won the Intercontinental Championship, it was time for Randy Orton's open challenge. Now, Randy revealed on Friday that he would be doing an open challenge. Now, in my predictions, I said that if we know Randy's opponent before WrestleMania, he will keep his win, because he was definitely going to beat Kevin Owens. And so we talked about his opponent and it just depends on what WWE wants to do. If they want him to win at WrestleMania so they can justify him challenging John Cena for the championship at Backlash, then they probably wanted him to keep his win. But then when they kind of were dragging their feet a little bit, I was like, well, if they're going to make it a mystery opponent, that's probably going to be a pretty big deal. And Joe Hendry wasn't even on my radar. I wasn't even thinking about him. Somebody brought him up the other night. I'm like, no, it's not going to be Joe Hendry. They're not going to bring a TNA guy out there. That's what I thought. But we did get the TNA World Heavyweight Championship in the ring at WrestleMania. That's just a mind-blowing sentence to say. But when I was trying to think of all the opponents, I'm like, well, if it's Miro, because now it's not Aleister Black. I think he's going to debut on Friday. So I'm like, it's probably Miro. Feels like it's going to be Miro. To me, it was Miro, to the point where I even had him on my overlay here. But I had a backup overlay just in case, so I took Miro off. But I thought for sure Miro would be the opponent. So Orton comes down to the ring. He gets on the mic. I said I would be here, so let's see. Who's it going to be? And close up of the stage, the doors open, and say his name, and the whole song hits, and it turns out to be Joe Hendry after all. And the crowd enjoyed it. They seemed to like it. And what this told me was, I like this too, because that means that Kevin Owens being knocked out wasn't going to change the outcome of the match. They wanted Orton to win, so anybody that he faced needs to be somebody he can beat. And Joe Hendry is the one mystery opponent, because I didn't think there would be anybody out there that you could bring out that would be a fun enough surprise, but also somebody that Orton could beat. Because if you bring out Rusev, he's not going to lose. Rusev's not going to lose, but Joe Hendry might. Joe Hendry is a TNA guy. He's never been to the big time before. He's not like Rusev, who's had plenty of history with Randy Orton and WrestleManias. He'd be a more justifiable win, where just the fact that Joe Hendry was out there, imagine him getting that call. I wonder when he did get that call. And him being the one to do it was awesome for him. I'm like, there you go. Now you can have this match, give the fans a fun little treat, give Joe Hendry the thrill of a lifetime, and you've got an opponent that you're not going to be forced to beat Randy. Even as the TNA champion, come on, this is Randy Orton. This is a legend. Randy needs to beat Joe Hendry. They had a pretty small match. Joe Hendry's nothing special in the ring. Joe Hendry's character is over, is what, more than anything. But he gave Randy Orton a good few minutes there, ate an RKO, got beat. And after the match, Randy Orton gave him his props and then RKO'd him again. But even after that, kind of patted him on the chest. I think it was probably felt good for Randy to, give a guy like that, just a WrestleMania match, and it's in the books as a pretty decisive and easy win for Randy. But I'm okay with that mystery opponent because Randy, I'm hoping, does wind up being the challenger for John Cena's championship. We'll talk more about Cena and Cody here in a minute. We opened with it, but we'll get back to it. So then after that, it was Logan Paul versus AJ Styles. Kind of a bummer. This one wasn't special. Logan Paul's entrance was kind of him holding the drone and then letting it go. And was kind of hoping that we would get a sleeper match here. Like this one would over-deliver or surprise us. And it was just kind of a nothing match. And I thought it was cool. It was a way of Triple H getting both guys on the card. Logan Paul's this big, huge celebrity that you've got a partnership with. So obviously he's been in a lot of big matches. He's been working WrestleManias ever since he's been with the company. So you want to get him on the card. So I'm glad WWE thought enough of AJ Styles to put him on the card. But we had Bayley, Bayley and Sami Zayn sitting out, but some guys are getting in. So AJ was brought in to be a good Logan Paul opponent. I'm like, okay, cool. Karrion Kross, I was saying this all week long. Karrion Kross has been put in this match to protect one of these two guys. He's going to make an appearance in the match, and he's going to cost one of them the match, and that's why Kross is there, because I don't think WWE really wants either guy to take a clean loss to the other, and if they don't have to, then they don't have to, so Kross can be a part of the finish, and the match was pretty lackluster. Logan Paul was doing some moves. We had some 450s. We had buckshot lariats. We had that stuff, but, again, nothing overly spectacular. And then the finish was Logan Paul's weird-ass friend out there to pass him some brass knuckles, and then Karrion Kross shows up to stop the whole deal. Karrion Kross gets a hold of the knuckles. He scares the guy away, damn near pisses his pants. He's got the knuckles, and he's trying to give them to AJ, and then AJ takes him and throws him at the steps. And it's like, no, and then he goes in the ring. But by that point, Logan has had time to recover. He comes in. He gets hit with Logan's, that new pulverizer move that he's got for the win and beats AJ Styles. And I did predict Logan Paul to win. I thought it could go either way. A lot of fans were pointing out that AJ's had some WrestleMania losses and he needs to win one. And I think sometimes, stringing up a bunch of losses or wins, you pay attention to, and then sometimes I think who fucking cares. And I think this is one of those situations where I don't think WWE really cared about that in this particular situation. So Logan got the win. AJ got a WrestleMania match and a WrestleMania payday. So that's better than nothing, I suppose, for AJ. And AJ's not really in the title scene right now. So for fans out there that complained about this match and said that AJ deserves better, what are you talking about? Better how? Better how? Be in the IC four-way? Is that better? Or take Jacob's spot and win the U.S. title? Hasn't AJ already won belts? So I'm all fine. I'm fine with AJ being a big part of WrestleMania, but in terms of him doing something better, what better? Where could you have stuck him that would have been better? He's not in the title situations. He didn't win the Rumble. He didn't win the Chamber. So unless he's just a random challenger, a forgotten unsuccessful challenger for the IC title in the multi-man match, this is pretty good. At least it's a feature match against a celebrity. Everybody knows who Logan Paul is. So I think AJ was treated just fine at this WrestleMania. I think it's fine. After that was the match that went on second to last. It was the tag team title match. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez defending the women's tag team championships against Lyra Valkyria and a mystery partner. Because yesterday on night one, on the kickoff, they could have just ran this angle 15 minutes before match time, but on the kickoff yesterday, they ran an angle where Bayley was attacked by an unknown assailant, and she's now out of her match. It was reported that this was not a Bayley injury, that this has been the creative plans for quite some time, and a lot of talent was really upset for Bayley and felt bad for her, as do I. And there was a creative reason for this, and now Lyra is going to have a new opponent. Well, we instantly knew Lyra's going to have a new partner. We instantly knew who the new partner was going to be. It was going to be Becky Lynch. We've seen her. We know she's coming back. She's even saying shit like, I'm not wrestling right now. Bullshit. Yes, you are. I called her out for it when we heard her say it last week. I'm like, she's full of shit. She's coming back either at WrestleMania or the night after WrestleMania. That's what I said. So I was hoping that we didn't need a match out of Becky. I was hoping that she would come out at the end of one of the matches and just as a surprise return, hi guys, I'm back. That's it. Or show up tomorrow night. So knocking Bayley out of this just to bring Becky back, I'm not going to say it doesn't make sense because Becky, has history with Lyra, and her last match before leaving was with Liv Morgan. So she's got history with people. It's not that it doesn't make sense. It's just I feel like if you're going to bring Becky back, you could have brought her back without even sacrificing this match at all. You could have had Bayley and Lyra just win the tag team titles and then Becky coming out at the end. Because I think the storyline reason for this now is that Bayley is going to feel like, well, that was supposed to be my match. Now you guys are champions. There's already some problems between Bayley and Lyra already. So this is going to be like this triangle type of deal. And Bayley might feel like the odd woman out. Becky might feel caught in the middle. And it's going to lead to something, maybe a triple threat match for that Intercontinental Championship. Sounds like it could be a possibility. So Bayley or Becky being brought back to be a part of the story, I get that. And that's fine with me. I'm not complaining about that at all. I just kind of wish there was a way to do it. And I think there would have easily been a way to do it while still being able to keep Bayley on the card without having to screw her over. Now, that's just me trying to be nice. Everybody deserves to be on Mania. I'm not one of those people. And I don't get too uppity worrying about who's not on Mania and who's there and who's not. There's nothing we can do about that. There's going to be plenty of people every year left out. We're going to have these same conversations next year. So there's no point in harping on it. But sometimes it feels unnecessary to pull somebody out because, at least based on how we think the storyline might be going, you could have kept Bayley there. So unless something happens on Raw tomorrow or in the next couple of weeks of TV that make us say, oh, okay, now I get it. Maybe they do that. But I feel like you could have easily had Becky come back at WrestleMania. We could have had our cake and eat it too. Bayley could have got her match. Becky could have came back. But now that Becky is the mystery partner of Lyra Valkyria, that was going to change my prediction. You know, I predicted this match before Bayley got knocked out. I thought it was a given that Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez were going to walk out with the tag team titles and Bayley and Lyra would have dissension. But once Becky came out there, I'm like, well, that's it. Becky's not going to come back in a tag and lose, you know? So now Lyra's going to be a double champion and all that. So it kind of changed and made the outcome very, very, very predictable. So I was kind of hoping that maybe there's more to this. You know, maybe Becky turns heel at the end or something like that. At some point, they're going to have to reveal who attacked Bayley. You know, unless, attacking Bayley was just done to start the storyline and it doesn't really matter. And there's not some big reveal planned. I don't know. But I feel like it's kind of shitty to do that to Bayley. So I'm kind of sticking up for Bayley here because a lot of us are Bayley fans and I feel like she was done a little bit on the dirty side on that one. Dude, all women look fantastic. Lyra, loved her. Becky came out looking more like her 2018 self, just kind of with the black when she was the man with the red hair. Pretty simple, really like that. And my God, Liv Morgan, moment of silence. Yeah, she was awesome. So all the women look fantastic, of course. But once Bayley got knocked out and Becky took her place, it made the outcome kind of obvious that we were going to see new tag team champions. And we did. Lyra and Becky win the titles. I forgot the finish. It was definitely pinfall, but I don't remember who pinned who. It was probably just, was it manhandle slam to Liv or something? Anyway, we have new tag team champions, Lyra and Becky, and Lyra is now a double champion as she's an IC holder as well. So like I said, I'm assuming that the story in this will be the three of them trying to maintain a friendship while having some issues. And then there's going to be a triple threat match booked for the IC title, and the belt will probably change hands, but there's also tag team titles in the mix and people's alliances and are going to be crossing over, and there's going to be a lot going on there. I guess that's going to be Becky's storyline coming back into the company, and that's totally fine. Just wish there would have been a way to get there without fucking over Bayley. That's all. Yeah, I was hoping like Becky would join Heyman, so she's going to be coming back here as a babyface, unless it's revealed that Becky attacked Bayley. Maybe that's where they're going. I had this crazy idea earlier in the night before the main event. I'm like, what if Becky, after she wins the titles with Lyra, then attacks Lyra, beats the hell out of her, leaves with both tag team championships, and then later Seth and Heyman make their presence known in the Cena and Cody match, help Cena win, and then you got The Rock and Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman and John Cena, and you have Becky out there joining her husband, and she's got the 2 tag team titles, but it's just herself, and then from behind, Charlotte slides in the ring, walks right up, stands next to Becky, and Becky takes one of the belts and just hands it right over to her, and they cheers. We're tag team champions now, and it's Becky, it's Rollins, it's Charlotte, it's Cena, it's Rock, and then they've got this big super faction. Might have been fun. Might have been better than what we saw tonight, that's for sure. And then, of course, in the main event, now we talked about this when we started, John Cena challenging Cody Rhodes for the WWE title. I did predict John Cena to win this match. However, I thought it was going to take a little bit more than what we got. And as great as the John Cena heel turn was at Elimination Chamber, everything that happened after that has been largely underwhelming. John Cena and Cody had that one great in-ring segment, but for the most part, we had a lot of questions. We had a lot of complaints, criticisms of the John Cena heel turn so far. The way it was executed, it looked like it couldn't miss. How the fuck did they miss here? You know, and the fact that John Cena came out kind of exactly the way he used to be. His whole entire motivation is just yelling at us for how we treated him in the past. I wasn't one of those people, but a lot of other fans were. And the you people motivation only goes so far. And there was never any mention of The Rock and why he sold his soul and how The Rock fits in. And the more weeks of TV we went, is the build for this was done completely overseas. The more weeks we went without any explanation or mention of The Rock, the more I thought we were just going to get that explanation at WrestleMania. That's when we would see The Rock. He'd come out. Travis Scott would probably be with him. They'd both come out in the main event, be a big part of that. I think a lot of us are still riding the wave of last year, the way that main event just had all sorts of wacky shit to help Cody finish his story. Everybody came out for that match, and so I think we were hoping that we were going to get something somewhat similar. Some fans don't like the overbooked wackiness, but I kind of like those, especially for WrestleMania main events, because you really don't know what you're going to see. So I was hoping for a lot more. If John Cena was going to win the title here, I thought that was going to be fine, no problem, but just do something that's creatively intriguing. And I'm not sure how intriguing this all was. They had a pretty slow match. John Cena was kind of in control for most of it, especially in the beginning. Pretty dominant, working a very slow, methodical pace, not trying to do anything to excite the audience. Fans were kind of booing Cody throughout most of it. Like I said, it had a WrestleMania 22 vibe with Cody in the role of John Cena that year, when all of a sudden he's being booed. And Triple H, who's in the role of Cena, or who Cena is in the role in. Cena's in the role of Triple H. Cody's in the role of Cena at WrestleMania 22. And watching the fans kind of turn like that. But Cody, he's proved here a couple of times that he can completely ride that out. So I don't think he was sweating that. But John Cena's older. He's a little slower, paler than Sting at 1997, at Starrcade 1997. So there's a lot that he physically can't do anymore. And the match was kind of slow, but then it picked up a little bit. And Cody just started kicking out of everything. He got hit with an AA. He got hit with another AA. He got hit with an avalanche AA. He got hit with a low blow and an AA. And he's kicked out of this every single time. To where we finally had Travis Scott coming down, and they played the WrestleMania theme song, which I like rap and stuff, but I just do not like the song. It's annoying. Meep, don't like it. It's so annoying. The song plays, and I've already been making fun of the song all night, and now we have to hear Travis Scott in the middle of a WrestleMania main event come down to the ring. And I think, there just needs to be a limit to some of the celebrity involvement. I'm fine with it sometimes. I will usually defend it when celebrities come in and whatnot, but Travis Scott making an entrance in a WrestleMania main event, I guess that's where it all began. I mean, Mr. T was right there in the middle. So, celebrities have always been a part of it. I didn't really care at first when he's coming out, because I'm assuming, never assume, because it makes an ass out of you and me. But I was assuming that when he got about halfway down the ramp, The Rock would come out. I thought The Rock's Hawaii Instagram post was horseshit. I'm like, he's coming out. So Travis Scott comes, no Rock. Travis Scott keeps coming. He keeps coming. He's walking all the way down to the ring. And all that happens is he winds up getting in the ring and taking a crossroads. That's it. Came down, he got on the apron first, messed around, wound up just taking a crossroads. He took it well. I was hoping for a little bit more of a tater, a little Idaho right to the temple, just to, give him one back. But Cody's a great guy. No hard feelings, I'm sure. Cody gave him a very safe crossroads, which he took wonderfully. Props to Travis Scott. They practiced that. He did well. But in the end, because there was a ref bump in this match, like I said, it all came down just the one spot with the belt. I thought it would be so much more elaborate than that, because John Cena was saying at some point you're going to have to make a choice. So Cena brings the belt in. He brings the belt in to go hit Cody. Cody stops him, takes the belt away from him, just overpowers him. And now he's got the belt. And then John Cena's down to his knees. Please don't hit me. And so Cody is now faced with that choice. Do I hit him? This is Roddy Piper with the bell at WrestleMania 8. He's like, do I hit him? And he's thinking about it, and that hesitation, he looks away, and when he looks away, he gets dick kicked to the penis. Down goes Cody. Cena hits him with a final AA and wins the championship with only the help of Travis Scott. Underwhelming is an understatement, I think. I'm going to sleep on it, because one thing I don't like to do is start raging off on my emotions and whatnot. But this was a disappointing WrestleMania. It was. And I feel like we saw it coming. It was disappointing in the build. We had a lot of questions, where we were last year and the high hopes we had for this year's WrestleMania. I feel like we had none of it. It really goes to show you, too, how much The Rock has WWE by the balls, and how if he's going to be so unavailable, I would rather not involve him in things, What'd you even need him at Elimination Chamber for? You literally got the fans assuming and got their hopes up and got them assuming that Rock has to be a part of this. He was right dead center in the middle of John Cena's epic history-making heel turn. How the fuck is he not going to be involved in the main event here? How is he unavailable? He's in Hawaii whacking off. You need to be in Vegas, son, being out there in the middle of this, celebrating with John Cena. You celebrated when he turned heel. So if The Rock isn't going to be at WrestleMania, fine. I don't need The Rock there. I don't ever need to see The Rock again. But then he shouldn't have been in Elimination Chamber. John Cena could have just turned heel. John Cena could have just turned heel without The Rock. He needed none of that. John Cena could have just decided that he's going to use heel antics to win his 17th, and he's going to turn on Cody, and he's going to become a heel. And he shouldn't need, since we haven't seen The Rock since it happened, it feels like The Rock's not even necessary for this. So I feel like putting The Rock at Elimination Chamber was probably, it was at the Sky Dome, right? So maybe it was a way to paper some more tickets in there or get some more attendance in there. But Rock being a part of that felt like it was a given. We don't even have to think about it. Of course. People were saying to me today, God, geez, Greg, I hope The Rock shows up tonight. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Are you idiot? Of course he will. The idiot is me. A winner is you. An idiot is Greg. I thought for sure Rock would be here, and I was confident that he would be. And I think it's a mistake to even make him a part of this, because you don't need him. Cena could be doing all this. He could have resorted to these heel antics. You could have just put somebody else in the place of Travis Scott. Could have been anybody else. They could have maybe been there, involved in Elimination Chamber, or come out, cause some sort of commotion. But you didn't even need Travis Scott there. All you needed was the ref bump and the belt. Tell the same damn story. So the fact that they had Travis Scott come out there made you think that was the beginning of a whole bunch of great shit to follow. The fact that he was the only thing is really disappointing. Really disappointing. So John Cena is your new WWE champion. I actually am curious and interested to see how he looks with the title, what he says, all of the things he's going to do with his run, and how long this run lasts. Is he going to take it to near the end of the year and drop it, or is he going to drop it way sooner than that, allowing him time to finish his redemption arc? And like I said, I would love for Cody to win the belt back. I think that's the story you have to do here. I would love for that match to be in Madison Square Garden if they could get it done. And I would love it also to be Cena's last match. But that would mean Cena's going to have to hold the title here for quite a while. Now, it's already the end of April, so we're just talking about May, June, July, August, September, October. We're talking like a 7-month run, which isn't super long, but it's not super short either. So He might have to drop it earlier. We've got SummerSlam coming up, big 2-night event. It's going to be, if this is a sign of things to come, it's going to be a struggle to get through these 2-night events, especially if the Rumble goes to 2 nights at some point. So now we've got 2-night SummerSlams. So we'll see what kind of matches they book for that and what Cody, his agenda is now. Now, he's not currently advertised, I don't think, or at least he wasn't, for Monday Night Raw tomorrow. So we probably won't see him. And Cena will be there. So will Jey Uso, and so will Seth Rollins. Now, like I said in the yesterday, I'm like, what do you do? If Cena wins the title, what do you do on Raw tomorrow? Who the hell opens the show? You got Cena and Uso, new champions, and you got Rollins, who won in the main event. I think Rollins and Jey Uso's segments might combine. You might have Rollins coming out there to challenge Jey Uso, but Jey Uso might have to run it back one time with Gunther first, and then you get to Rollins and Uso. I don't know. That's why tomorrow night I've opted not to do a watch-along. We're going to do a review of Raw tomorrow night. That way I can give you guys a general recap and overview of the whole weekend and what I thought about it. But you guys, were here with me last night, and we talked about last night being pretty underwhelming. Tonight was the same. That was the same. And overall, this was probably not going to go down as one of my favorite WrestleManias. So let's see what you guys have to say in the chat. I know I got some super chats to answer. I also want to get an idea of social media, what it's saying about the event. I mean, one way you have to look at it is Cena did intend to give us nothing, and I think that's kind of what we got tonight. We got nothing. Yeah, and The Rock was not at WrestleMania. All right, let's answer some of these supers, and then I'll give you guys some more opinions. Actually, I'm going to go to the master list here because I might have lost y'all. Man, yeah, disappointing. Yeah, we're going to see what you guys have to say, read some opinions here, talk about it, chat about it, and see if you guys are as disappointed as me. What's the last one I read? I think it was from you, Cena's bald spot. WWE fan, thanks for the $10. It's going to be better for Cody to chase the title and get the rematch at SummerSlam. That's when I think Cody gets the rematch and the title back. They do the third match at the Rumble. I already read that one. Sorry about that. Super Fluffy, you got 5. Good to see you, my friend. I didn't mind the match and enjoyed Cena's slow 5 moves of doom, but goddamn, it needed to be a clusterfuck with The Rock. It did. I just wanted more. Like I said, they kind of teased and told us that that's what we were going to get, and then we didn't get it, and that really makes me mad. Zach, my bro, good to see you, man. Appreciate the 5. Going with a solid B for the whole Mania. Kind of glad it didn't shill out the initial asking price, or I didn't shill out the initial asking price for the tickets. Me too. I think if I would have gone and dropped the type of money that I dropped in LA, and it would have been like 3 times as much, I would have had some buyer's remorse. I might be getting slammered right now in a Vegas titty bar, spending more of my money. Jonathan Cantress, good to see you, man. Appreciate 5. Night 2 was solid. Travis Scott ruined the main event. I think Cody will be fine and cheered again after, expecting a better rematch at SummerSlam, and Cody wins clean. Yeah, I feel like Cody will win clean and win the belt back at some point. SummerSlam does allow you the fall for the redemption arc, if that is the direction they are going. But Travis Scott, I didn't think you needed him either. I wanted him there to be a part of the madness, not just to be the only person that came out. Jesus, man. Garbage. Shrew Minotti, thank you for the $9.99. I agree with you, Greg. I look for the good in wrestling too, but I needed that extra WrestleMania magic, and Travis Scott ain't it. If the glass is going to shatter, it should mean something. Yeah, tonight the glass shattered and Austin ran over a woman, and there's probably going to be a lawsuit. That was a wild botch. Ran right into the barricade, knocked the woman over. We talked about it earlier. Nick Khan ran right over there. Try to smooth things over. Imagine if that happened in AEW and Tony Khan ran over there. The fucking bad faith anger boys would be jizzing themselves over it. My God. Nuts. Absolutely nuts. But hey, it was still fun. Hey, the Juliet, thanks for the $2. The SmackDown TLC match should have been on WrestleMania. Yeah, absolutely should have. I mean, at least with the match, being so disappointing, at least that's kind of what Cena's character wanted to happen. He wanted us to be disappointed, and we are. I just don't know. I just don't know if it was the best idea. Solid Monster called it a dumb finish. Well, Solid Monster would be right. I think anybody tonight that's calling it a dumb finish would be right, because I believe that it was. But all in all, I mean, we still had 2 nights of fun here. We've been streaming for 5 hours last night, nearly 5 hours tonight. We had a lot of fun in some of these matches. Like I said tonight, the undercard was pretty good. I loved watching Dominic win the Intercontinental Championship. I thought Rhea and Bianca and Io tore it up in the opener and had a better opener than Jay and Gunther. I wanted more out of Priest and Drew, but I can't say I was disappointed in the match. Still a solid-ass match. AJ and Logan, a little bit underwhelming. Becky Lynch came back, which I did like, but it was predictable. We could see that coming 10 trillion fucking light years away, and you knocked out Bayley in the process. So that whole situation was just meh. And then we thought it could all be saved by a fantastic main event with John Cena beating Cody, with everybody and your fucking mother coming out there. And Cody did have his mother out there. His mom was there. His daughter was there. Brandy was there. His sister was there. So all this loss happened right in front of them. And it wasn't even in a cool way, like where John Cena took the title and rubbed it in his little daughter's face and his daughter's crying. Like nothing even cool like that. It was just like last year we had the mom involved and, everybody. And I just wish that we had more fun in that match. And WWE, this is kind of how Triple H likes to be. I think Triple H is going to hear a lot of complaints that he's not going to like, and it's only going to, I think, encourage him to book more in an unfan-friendly way. Because WWE's mind, it's all about bottom line and all those numbers and all those dollars, and they're pulling in record gates in every single fucking show they do. So until that stops, in bad booking, it would take a while for that ripple effect to hit ticket sales and ratings to that degree. That takes some time. So Triple H could actually give us a whole bunch of shit, if he wants to, just to toy with us. And I've said it before, do that whole promo. I'm going to send a tweet. I'm going to send an Instagram and go with my friend Mark and complain online. That was 100% pure Paul Levesque. That was not his character. That was not an angle or a work. He meant every syllable of that. And I've always felt he just doesn't like us. At the Hall of Fame, I turned off his speech about 45 minutes in, but it went an hour and 7 minutes. Did he thank us? He might have. I didn't hear, at least in the first part of it, thanked everybody in the world except the fans. I'm assuming he thanked the fans at the end, but I didn't hear him thank the fans up until the point I shut it off. And I still haven't gone back and watched the rest. So, was hoping for more. Well, what do we got next year? Where the hell? Do we know where 42 is? Is it New Orleans again? I forgot. Anyway, you guys have a good night. By the way, we've got the media press conference going on right now, and I don't know where that stupid roast of WrestleMania is airing, but I don't like that Tony Heathcliff fucker, so I'm not going to watch him. But I'm sure the press conference is ongoing right now, and there's a lot of things to watch. So good luck watching that tonight, and thank you again for hanging out on another fun WrestleMania weekend. Another WrestleMania season is almost in the books, but you're not going to be done with me because we are going to be back tomorrow night after Raw. Please join us because I will have some notes. We will have a little bit more of a detailed kind of recap of the weekend. We will also see what all the fallout is, not only on Raw, but, in the news sites and what the fans are saying, and just get a little bit better of a vibe of what the reaction was and how, this WrestleMania is going to go down in history and how we're going to look back on it. Because from where I sit, unless when I get off the stream here and I kind of take it all in and reabsorb it, it's way more better than it's feeling to me right now. But right now, not a good WrestleMania. And I'm going to give this WrestleMania overall a C+. And I'm going to give it a 7.2. No, I'm going to give it I'm sorry, not a 7.2. I'm going to give it a C+ and somewhere in the 6.9 region. That's the best I can do. And that's me being kind, because I try to be kind. I always try to be kind. All right. Oh, he did. Okay, thank you, Gilbert. He did thank the fans. All right, I'm glad I didn't accuse Triple H of that. He would have to be silly not to thank the fans. But I still don't think he likes us very much. And tonight's outcome was, kind of reassurance of that. But Anyway, it's still WrestleMania, and it's always fun. I love you guys. Thank you for being here for so many hours with me over the next couple of days. And like I said, we're going to be back tomorrow night after Raw, and we will have a lot to discuss. Enjoy what's left of your WrestleMania Sunday. Take care, sleep tight, and I'll be seeing y'all tomorrow after Raw. Peace.